Afternoon and welcome once again to Gaming Under the Influence. I'm Mike here with Alex, coming to you from GreenDragonCVR in Woodbridge, Ontario, to talk to you after a few-week hiatus about video games.
A few weeks for sure, yes.
Yeah, our good buddy here. Can we say you were away?
I was away on vacation, yes.
Off in the old country.
But I'm happy to be back, and I'm even more happy to tell you, if you don't know, that Google has shut down its Stadia servers, or is going to, rather.
Yes. That's the big news for the day,
like
that is.
That was just like hanging over.
It's a coming home present.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
To me, yeah, it's just cosmic justice.
Cheers
so glorious.
That.
Cheers to that. Cheers to the failure of evil.
Yes.
And for bad things happening to bad people.
I'm fairly certain if you go back on our videos and our podcasts around that time in 2019, because we've been at this for a little while, that we had proclaimed that this would happen and we would be here and we would say it happened and shout out the windows and all that shit, whatever.
No,
So,
we did, you know.
I couldn't wait to
in the time
get
leading
that
up
out.
to Stadia, we made this whole like months-long fucking push against the idea of streaming, and we even argued that, you know, not only for material reasons is it obviously not going to take off, right? Which it didn't. Nope. By the way, it did not. So obviously,
Not enough
you know,
for them to keep it going, that's for sure.
circumstantially, it's never going to work. But on top
Yeah.
of that, like the problem is formally, like what it implies for the kinds of games you can play on it, right? Like the mode of consumption will probably have something to do with the kinds of games that are being designed for the platform. Which is why you don't see Souls-likes or fucking JRPGs typically on mobile devices.
Yeah,
you know,
it wouldn't make
on
sense.
your phone,
It wouldn't work.
right?
Yeah.
That's for fucking checking your little farm in between fucking bus stops and shit like that, you know? And so, you know, the idea would be that probably the kind of games you're going to see on streaming services would be live service games, the kind of games suited to that sort of consumption, right? So there's a dual reason why we should be pessimistic about this, both because it's probably not going to work and because it's objectively bad for video games as art, right?
Yep.
We should want it to fail. It shouldn't exist. It's not good to insert this fucking middleman in between whose only job is to provide you with unnecessary means to consume your media.
It is essentially the best thing we could have hoped for when we learned about this service. Yeah. That is Google's ubiquitous bullshit cloud streaming garbage.
Right. I don't like free markets, but I like when they pan out in my favor.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it's good to watch things work out the way I like.
Straight up, anything worth fucking playing was not worth playing on Stadia.
Yeah,
like, jeez, man.
I think so. So that's one of the things we're going to get into today. The other big thing is the fact that just came out this week that 3 of the big creative leads for Disco Elysium were involuntarily dismissed from the studio.
That's devastating.
I don't know how you say it, Studio Zuam or Studio Z-A-U-M.
Yeah, whatever.
I don't
Z-A-Z-A-U-M.
You know, they founded the studio. I think it was Kurvitz, and the painter whose fucking oil paintings, you know, pretty much comprise the artwork of Disco Elysium. And Helen, I don't remember her last name, who wrote the entire fucking script. The hilarious and amazing script. They're the people who made the game.
Basically, yeah, the
people
who were directly responsible with constructing
the
this
fucking
game.
The game is based in a world that fucking Kurvitz invented in his novels. You know what I mean? What the fuck? This is like Tolkien being fired from Lord of the Rings, bro, which pretty much happened after his death anyways.
After his death, yeah. At least he died first.
Anyways,
this is just awful.
You know,
but
it sucks ass, but we're going to get into that too. I guess the general theme of today is the future is not bright. You know?
Not really. I mean, we kind of always go down the doom and gloom, and we do always try to make mention that, like, whatever is actually coming down the pipeline that we're looking forward to, it's almost a surprise we're even getting that. Like, we try to stay, you know,
I think, you know,
appreciate what we're getting, but oh my fuck, the gaming industry right now is in some kind of turmoil, some paradox. I don't know. It's just, it's become awful. It's way too, like, corporate business and
I think you're right about that, buddy. And
it's ugly.
To my estimation, the problem is that, you know, the material circumstances involved in making a game, what we colloquially call the industry, you know, the business side of things, the material side, and actually getting some shit out the door. It's fucking awful and capitalistic.
It's terrible. It sucks that anybody with an idea has to work with them, like you were saying before, but it's unfortunately somewhat a necessity.
It sucks, and it's unlikely to yield proper artworks.
Yeah, exactly.
At the end of the day. And I think that the logic behind this, you know, we could just get straight into it. What's the similarity between the firing of Kurvitz and the invention of Stadia in the first place, right? Like, what do these two things have to do with each other? And I'd put it to you that, the problem with the industry, quote unquote, with the material circumstances surrounding the making of games, is that like the making of everything else that is involved in, like the making of anything else that involves relying on these material considerations and conditions, the thing made becomes an instrument of profit making, right?
Mm-hmm,
so it means, at the end of the day, for somebody to be,
it's just a vehicle for profiteering.
for somebody to be a quote-unquote capitalist, this doesn't have anything to do with private property or fucking public property or, taking something from somebody else. What this essentially means is you believe the last end of man, the reason why people work and make things and think and get up in the morning, is the production of material wealth, It's the people behind the invention of Stadia. Now, do you think they were responding to some fucking need out in the world? Like, that they were addressing a human good or a human use? That their idea had some intrinsic merit apart from its market considerations? Or were they saying, look, it appears that people are spending money on this thing, therefore we will make this kind of thing.
Make one. Yeah. That's exactly it. It's all aboard the fucking bus to let's make a bullshit product so we can shit it out to you and sell it, right? The game, the product,
that's right.
Becomes throwaway, right?
That's right.
Especially if you're firing the lead creators, like in the disc over. Like
it's disposable. But how you might ask how this is possible? It's a game. How is it possible that the game is disposable to the game? And I think it's because like this phrase we've used before called market-immanentization. The idea that there's the real thing, the game. It's a fiction. Yeah, I'm not an idiot. I know it's a work of fiction.
Yeah.
It's
a real thing.
Work outside the mind. It's an object like the can in your hand right now, right?
Yes.
It exists outside the mind. Besides the real thing, the artifact produced by the makers of the game, there's its representation within the market, within the economic structure that constitutes the quote-unquote industry. We track how much money it makes, how many people are playing it, its branding,
especially more so nowadays.
Its marketing. You
all
see?
kinds of.
That's right. Yeah.
Statistics.
There are so many games that don't even exist yet, but they exist in the market sphere, in the space, in that symbolic space where people decide things and make economic decisions, right? Most games don't exist yet, and they exist in this space. People are pre-ordering them and spending money on them before they even come into existence.
True.
Sometimes
Very
probably
true.
before there's even a build available in the most rudimentary form. But the point is that there's a difference between the thing, the artifact, the game, the thing outside the mind, the extramental thing, and its representation within the quote-unquote market. We're all familiar with what this market representation involves. It involves, like I said, people tracking the profit, the review scores, who's talking about it, how many people are playing it, all of these things aside from the game itself, okay? The human involvement with the game on the side of the economy or social affectation, It's not even necessarily about money. It could also be on social media. It's a matter of branding. It's a matter of culture, right? It's the thing being represented apart from its existence outside the mind, okay? And I would put it to you that the people making Stadia, this is obviously what they care about. You see the fucking commercial for it that we were just watching before the video started, has nothing to do with games, bro.
No.
You're attempting to build a new mode for people to consume something, thereby parasitizing that consumption.
100%.
Nickel and diming people
and
who otherwise were getting by without you.
So, obvious because also gaming is one of the biggest, if not the biggest entertainment industry now. So why would Google want to jump in? Well, there's money to be had. Really, that's all it is. Google's been around for at least, 2 decades nowadays?
That's right.
You think they suddenly give a fuck about video games? It makes money nowadays.
Truly, I not that I think they do. Of course they don't. But I think the point is even more severe. Like,
it is worse than that. For sure.
Of an institution like that, they cannot care about these things. It's like a man who can only see a certain color, right? Like, from the perspective of a fucking publicly traded company, there's no such thing as a good or a bad game. They don't give a fuck about that.
No.
They care only about those market metrics. To them, the thing exists only insofar as it can be represented with and generate favorable outcomes within that system of representation, which is the economy or the market.
Money.
Right? Yeah, to make
Stock
money
price going up.
To make money in the loose sense. In the sense of cultural clout. It doesn't matter. Some people refer to this concept of soft power. There's like hard power, American military power, but there's soft power. Like the Japanese have 1 million Michelin stars. They're better chefs. Right? There's 2 kinds of it, right? Anyways, the point is that, it's the one kind that some institution like Google is concerned with, right? The thing as it happens outside the mind is fucking useless. It's non-existent. It doesn't matter. They would sell you a piece of shit if they could brand it and do so, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's irrelevant, They cannot see. To them, the only thing that matters is its imminent market factors. And the reason I say that...
That's exactly why it's getting shut down, because it didn't meet whatever their fucking targets must have been to make money.
Absolutely. I think
it's not rocket
because
appliances.
I bet you they don't even care about generating a profit from Stadia. I bet you
probably
Google,
not.
They don't. Give me a fucking break.
Yeah,
That's not where
that's
their
true.
money comes from. Their money's, even if 1 million people subscribe, they're never going to make that much money compared to their ad revenue off of Stadia. The whole point is to develop a new platform to integrate people who weren't integrated into their technological infrastructure. It's a way to immanentize things that weren't previously within Google's system of representation.
True.
Right?
How do you
wanna
do it?
bring
Gamers.
You want to bring other
Video
people
gamers.
and people didn't engage, bro. That's why they're shutting it down.
Yeah.
That's nothing to do, to my estimation, probably doesn't have anything to do with money. It has to do with people just didn't give a fuck. So they're like, all right, we failed and we're shutting it down. Fine. But
They have better use of the servers.
yeah, they'll make
doing
more
other
money renting
things.
out the
Yeah,
servers to other people to do
yeah.
it. But at the end of the day, the point remains then, you know? What does this have to do with fucking games?
A
We've already
lot
argued
and
why-
not a whole lot at the same time.
We've
It's
already
wild.
argued
Yeah.
why not only will it not work, it won't be good for you to
Yeah.
play games for all of the fucking material reasons that brought about its fucking failure on the other hand of it, right? But there's also the fact that it encourages the production of bad games. So it's
shit
not
games,
it's
yeah.
not for games, bro.
Just like Game
It's not
Pass.
for games.
Worse
it's not
than
for
Game
people
Pass.
because if you read the kind of people on our Stadia who enjoy this, they're just utterly domesticated house husbands.
Yeah,
who are
it's
too
really
pathetic to even remark on their
strange.
predicament. Like
See people like, oh, I don't know how I could game anymore now that Stadia's gone. Like, what?
yeah, they're like, yeah, you know, when my wife is in bed with her boyfriend, I like to play my Stadia on the other TV. And the fucking
Now what am I
family-
going to do? Just watch them? Ah.
Yeah, it's truly pathetic. But
it's
there's
fucked.
no, you know, it has nothing to do with games or with any extramental thing, right? At best, you're trying to invent a circumstance extrinsic to games to parasitize games.
Yeah.
That's what it has to do with. People concerned with some market imminent metric, like the likes of which, you know, they could look to a game, something that previously escaped their profit making methodology, and they could bring it within that.
Yeah, pretty
I
much.
think that's the only explanation for something like Stadia, and the only way to
Well,
interpret
that's what they
it.
did, right? They just bought games, put it on their system, tried to get people in.
Yeah.
You know, used a bunch of marketing lingo and really arrogant, stupid commercial.
Yeah.
Super
Even the
edgy,
commercial,
and like, ugh.
I think all of that just really hammers the point home, right? Like even the
Yeah.
talking points have not to do with the games, but with some mode of consuming them, something
No boxes, no downloads.
socially or economically relevant, right?
Don't have to wait anymore.
Don't have to buy this, don't have to do that. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not at all to do with the
it's-
games.
No, it's just a bunch of nonsense and garbage. And it's funny even hearing that apparently there was like a rumor that their next, or Kojima wanted to work with them on a next game, and they, on his next game rather, and they fucking, I guess, said no or whatever the circumstance would be.
how would that work though?
I don't know how it would work, but for
casual
even just
Stadia data
ignoring that,
thing,
like,
no?
that just like reinforces your point that like a guy like Kojima makes good games. Like he hasn't made a bad game in his fucking life. And you don't want his game exclusively to your service. Like that would be something.
They're probably looking at Death Stranding and saying this is not a profitable thing. You know, like
That's the
how
other
does it
side.
bolster
Yeah,
their market position, right?
because they can't. I guess they just can't understand that. It.
yeah.
I don't know.
My argument then is simply this: that they're entirely concerned with market imminent
Yeah.
metrics of
Yeah.
success, and the thing itself doesn't exist to them. You know, this is why we see Stadia fail, because it's fucking the market niche like doesn't just justify its own existence, right? As much
Yeah,
as we would want
exactly.
it to.
It's like,
you know?
yeah.
As much as we tend to pretend that's how it works in the modern age, and oftentimes it does, but this is a separate question. And here, it's clearly the case that attempting to fucking generate something in the real world by representing it within the market or within your social infrastructure doesn't fucking bring
Yeah.
about your desired results, right? Reality works the opposite way, you know?
Well, I guess it makes me happy to say fuck Google and fuck Stadia, because we saw this shit coming, and I'm fairly certain I have said in the past that I will pop champagne
Yeah.
the day that fucking Stadia
we're
gets shut
drinking
down.
right now in celebration.
So we're drinking now, but there will be a champagne bottle at a further date when the servers officially shut down. We'll pop one.
There definitely will. But
Yes!
I think there's some relation of this kind of shit. Like, I think the reason why people would make Stadia is the same reason they'd fire their lead writer, painter, and
Yeah,
fucking
it's
developer, right?
so
Because-
eerie that this is all happening at the same time, because
I think the concern in both cases then is with market imminent metrics, you know? Or at least a preoccupation with those to the exclusion of anything else, right? Because it seems almost like self-evidently ridiculous to be like, yeah, man, you just wrote this thing, it did awesome.
you guys
Game
were
of the
literally
year,
responsible
but
for this
we're
game
gonna
that won
shit can you on
awards.
the
Yeah,
side.
yeah.
We're not going to
It's
tell
true.
everybody, and then we're going to make another game. It'll be great. Nobody will know.
No one will
you
know. Yeah, it really does reinforce the point, because they're essentially.
It's like if Michael Jackson died and they hired another guy. You know what I mean? And they're like, yeah, come to the concert. Would you be like, Not that I like Michael Jackson, but he's dead.
But yeah, he's
dead, bro. You're not gonna watch no goddamn Michael Jackson concert. Sorry.
It's true, yeah. That's a good way to put it, actually, because when you consider that's basically what's going on now, and their best hope is probably just hoping that people, like you said, just don't know what happened internally.
But
so
then
people like us who follow the industry, yes, we know.
Where the hell does Disco Elysium still exist? It only ever existed in the mind of the people who made it. So where the fuck is it now?
And that's the problem.
In the market, just its market-immanent representation even if reduced to a brand?
Yeah, even if people buy it, whatever this game turns out to be.
What is it?
They'll know it's not.
It's a Michael Jackson impersonator.
Exactly, yeah.
It's an Elvis impersonator. It's a cover band, bro. Just fuck right off. It's like Rings of Power. It's foul. Foul. I can't get behind that kind of stuff. It's so revolting for the, we've talked so much about how, I guess, like, there's this fucking process of artistic creation whereby the guy who makes it, like, the thing lives by the life of his mind. You can't transmit it, right? So not only is it fucking contrary to the very invention of something good from the beginning, but here it just seems to me like the only way, how could you countenance that this is a good idea? You must, like the guy making Stadia, be purely fixated on market-immanent metrics, such that it doesn't matter.
To totally ignore.
The brand is still the brand, right? As though it just floats freely, devoid of any fucking human interference.
Yeah,
right?
that's some deep fucking level ignorance. Like, I really don't know how you could critically look at that and say, like, hey, this is a good idea. These guys aren't aligning with what we want to do, even though they wrote the whole game, coded the whole game, designed all the art for the game. Fuck them. We don't need them. Like, how could you come to that conclusion? Yeah, it just blows my fucking mind.
Yeah, me too.
Fuck.
Me too. I mean, I guess I understand. It's the exact same way that somebody could fucking make or watch something like Rings of Power. How could you do that? To me, that's like, dude, like, it sounds like I'm just being dramatic, but to me, that's like some deep fucking violence. Like, this is some fucked up shit. It's perverse, man. I mean, it's fucking severely perverse.
We could, I mean, we're not going to because we do it all the time, but there's so many examples.
There are so many examples.
There's so many. We've given so many countless every day, every week, every time we record.
But like
why it's not a good idea. Like, why?
It's bad enough when it's like Halo or fucking something like that. It was already like some corporate fucking junk. But dude, things like Tolkien, things like fucking Disco Elysium, man. Those things are reactionary. They're built against the very system that is now raping and
now running it. Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's fucking foul. Man. Those are reactionary texts. They're about exactly how this thing that's happening in both circumstances sucks ass. It's foul, dude. Jeff Bezos making Lord of the Rings, fucking some corporation kicking Kurvitz off his game and selling the branding.
So
what?
Awful.
Are you kidding me?
So ugly,
dude.
Yeah,
what the fuck? It just warps you. It's fucking
and that's exactly where we arrive at the point, like we said at the start of the episode, that like gaming right now just seems
in a foul place.
Like the industry is like eating itself, and
it's in a foul
everything
place.
Is so ugly.
It is because, in my opinion, that fucking thing I just said, this market immanentization, everybody involved in the making of games doesn't care about or even believe in the existence of a game apart from its representation in the market. Apart from its success and player base and blah, blah, blah. Its culture, this and that shit, right?
How
they don't believe in the
game
thing
serve
itself,
me?
Yes. That's right. Exactly. Me, the individual, or me, the socioeconomic position. It doesn't matter, right?
Oh, it's terrible.
It is terrible. It is terrible. It is terrible.
Like talking about
Literally,
it.
we were looking at the Stadia forum, and some people were saying, "I'm not going to play games anymore. I'm going to quit gaming now." Like, are you fucking? What?
I don't know. Like, I don't want to buy a console because of the footprint it takes up.
What the fuck are you talking?
You have like, I got a 60-inch TV, but I can't have a 10-inch console sitting under.
It's like somebody tells you not to use a certain word, and you're like, "I'm just never going to talk again." No. What are you talking about? What's wrong with your head, bro?
Yeah.
The thing is the medium. Don't you care about what it signifies?
Yeah.
You're not just looking at the. It's like that idiot saying, "Oh, Sekiro, just a bunch of button presses." Man, if you really believe that, stop what you're fucking doing.
Just why bother? Else. Yeah, exactly. You've lost it.
Just as surely as right now, my talking is not merely the flapping of my lips. Yeah. There's a meaning on the other side of the words. That is not all there is to it.
Yeah.
How could you be like, well, I can't consume the thing exactly as I like, therefore I will not do it anymore? What?
I love how we arrive
far
at
up your
so
own
many points.
Must you be? What does that have to do with anything?
Yeah. some
nuts.
really weird opinions going on in the gaming universe.
I guess there's this general theme, though. Wouldn't you agree? There's the reduction of the thing as it exists outside your head to either yourself or something to do with yourself.
Oh yeah, of course.
That's the fucking common trend. Nobody can sit back and realize that outside of you, the thing, the game, the whatever the fuck it is an independent being with its own internal logic that should be viewed objectively. It's a fucking objective work apart from you, right? What the hell? You know, you just look at it like a tool. You literally should be doing something else. Just go buy a prostitute and leave us all the fuck alone. You know what I mean? The fuck?
Fair enough, yeah.
Truly. Destroying the medium. The only decent things that ever come out now are from fucking independent creators or Japanese people.
Japanese,
you know? Or at least not like Americans or Canadians,
remakes
right?
of older things that were good, but not all the time, because The Last of Us Part 1 has proven that to be a shit show. But I mean, you're also that's just dumb. Even like the Dead Space remake, like Dead Space 1 works perfectly fine on my PC.
Dead Space is exactly another case of what we're describing right now. You goddamn fired the creators less than a decade ago.
And now you're remaking the game.
And you said the kind of thing they made is not worth making anymore, and now you're making it again?
It's like,
what are you doing?
It's just so like poor taste. We literally came off of like 2 years ago talking about how Final Fantasy VII Remake was made with like a ton of the same guys who worked on the original and just happened to still work at Square Enix. Like, they're like, hey, you guys want to remake this? Yeah, sure. Like,
literally, the same people who worked on the original.
Incredible on the other side of things than thinking like, oh, we just fired everybody, but now we still retain the IP, so let's just remake it. Like, it's just,
I ask you again, who the fuck is I'm not gonna play that.
No, I'm not gonna play that. The Callisto Protocol.
That's Dead Space.
That's
that's Dead Space.
The new reboot of Dead Space by the same people who made Dead Space. Oh,
come on. People want to watch their zombie Michael Jackson show. Fucking losers. Just can't get behind it, bro.
I think I'm more excited for like Final Fantasy VII Part 2 and like Crisis Core that comes out at the end of this year. It's like almost seems like what else is there?
Yeah. I mean
I think we've had a pretty good year, like, you know, with Elden Ring and like certain things, and I can't even recall right now, but it's bad, but it almost seems like we're still getting little nuggets pushing through every once in a while.
Well, there's two sides to this, right?
Yeah.
Like, if it turns out then that it's this fucking this cannibalization of the game by its market immanent factors that destroys the game, well, then you just have to look outside those circumstances.
You have to look outside that, exactly.
There are games made outside this so-called market. It happens all the fucking time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Or games made that touch on the market but in largely independent conditions, right? Like, all kinds of games like that. And even games made at larger scale by people who like fucking Death Stranding, let's say. Like, things do happen. You know? They just require,
that's for sure.
They just require an anti-market kind of attitude. You know?
Yeah.
You just have to look outside these foul conditions to find things that are made well, and even look within those conditions to the kind of authorship that a good piece of art requires, and you're likely to be served, right?
That's kind of sad, because Disco Elysium was that.
It was that.
It is that. It's looking outside and like, wow, this random little niche game, and explode into popularity because it was so incredibly well written and had such nice art. Everything that those people did seemed like genuine, and now they've been essentially forced out of their
It's a beautiful thing,
studio,
but it couldn't last.
It'll never happen again. It'll never happen again.
We have what
we have, which is Disco Elysium 1. And,
what a
and
tragedy, actually. Think about that.
No, it is.
That's done, man.
It really
done.
is. Yeah.
It's a one-off. It's fucking done. They
won
killed it.
A ton of awards. Like, it's
no exaggeration to say it is one of the best games ever made, easily.
Yeah. How quickly can that just become boop and just...
And they fired the guy, and with under threat of legal action, they probably made him keep it quiet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I think they didn't break news for a little while
until somebody else let it out.
Yeah.
Oh man,
just
really
terrible, awful. I don't want to end off on that note, but essentially that's, I mean, that was our point that also related to Stadia.
Just to do with all these things,
the whole
at least
Dead Space. At least we can fucking happily say that Google is shutting down Stadia servers. That is awesome news. Fuck Stadia. Fuck their arrogant commercial that made people out to look like idiot consumers that just I can't buy a box. I mean, these people do exist, but anyway.
Fuck Stadia and fuck Stadia
dads.
Stadia,
fuck Stadia
and what's
dads.
More, fuck the people who make the next Disco Elysium.
Yeah,
fucking burn in hell, you motherfuckers.
Yeah.
You literally deserve a spot in hell.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
That's terrible.
Just awful. Just piece of shit capitalist. Fuck you. That whole game is about you,
Yeah.
That whole game is exactly about you.
Kind of ironic, eh?
It is hilarious. Yeah, it's messed up. It's messed up. There's one fucking thing I sent you today where it's like there's this character in Disco Elysium called the Deserter. Pretty much he instigates the whole plot. The whole plot's there's this fucking murder, right?
Yep.
Some guy's murdered, some guy involved in this, local fucking... Anyways, he's an important guy locally. He's murdered, and it turns out the guy that murdered him at the end is this fucking guy who was involved in it's not quite communism, the variant of communism in the Disco Elysium world. He was involved in the revolution, but it failed all these years ago. Sure. And he's been holed up on this island for like 20 years, just fucking going mad and waiting to kill somebody, I think. And you talk to him right at the end, and you're like, what the fuck, buddy? What's going on? And he's like, yeah, it's just fucking horrible. It's a giant mess, a giant black hole come to eat everyone you fucking love, and at the end of the day, you're staring into its eyes and you realize that bourgeoisie is not fucking human. And yes, that's right. That is, I'm sure literally the woman who wrote that line, what she was probably literally thinking as she got fired.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a little bit of poetic justice on her end, right?
She's like, yep, I was right.
Yep. I saw it coming.
Horrible, man.
God.
Truly fucking foul. I think honestly that's even worse than Stadia. That's fucked up.
Yeah, it is. That's why I want to end on the happy note that they're shutting down servers, because the future for Disco Elysium looks very, very terrible, and it could be the end of it.
It's done. It's done. It's over. Yeah.
I mean, unless
mind you, that guy
get together.
Dude, those people. Who's not going to want to make a game with those guys now?
That's true.
You know what I mean?
I'm
sure they can get some shit going now.
It just won't be called Disco Elysium.
Fine.
It'll be a play off of that name. Oh,
you know what would be horrible though if those fucking cunts owned the rights to Kurvitz's fucking novel.
See, I don't know.
That would be brutal.
That would be bad.
Oh my god. Can you imagine being alive and some asshole fires you from your own? I would fucking go to their house at night, bro.
I can't see that being the case.
That's like somebody stealing your children.
But yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's awful. It's deeply
terrible.
awful. It offends me horribly. I don't like it, I really don't like it. Of all the things we talk about, that rubs me.
Yeah, I can tell that
of all things.
I know how much you like Disco Elysium, and I knew this would be a near and dear to your heart issue. And
how could that happen?
Yeah.
How?
Yeah.
They should have. Those people should have left. Go get your own company. What are you doing?
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Fuck you.
And they were shareholders. How did they even engineer this circumstance?
I don't know.
It must have been aggressive, bro. They must have threatened them, right? Like, there's no way they'd just be like, all right, we're leaving. They literally must have threatened them with
whatever
something.
it is, it wasn't good for sure.
No, it was not. Well.
At least Stadia's dead. Rip, Stadia.
Turns out then in the end that this market immanentization, the fixation by creators or players or anybody else on things other than the game itself is just not good for games,
Yep.
It can lead to fucking terrible like Ponzi schemes that are meant to parasitize the distribution of games, or even to the firing of the people that make the game in favor of what? God knows. Like, probably trying to create something that's... Dude, you know what probably happened? They probably were like, you want to fucking make a TV show? On what? You want to what? They probably lost it. They probably went fucking postal, and they were like, all right, you're out of here, man. I'm certain that's what happened. That's about the time they were talking about this shit, was it not? A Disco Elysium TV show?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, man, that must have pissed those dudes off something fierce. They must have been pissed off.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, you don't go to the fucking Game Awards and thank Karl Marx, and then you're like, yeah, make my game into a TV show. You know what I mean?
Right? What the hell? Like,
yeah.
Oh, man. That's so true.
Bizarre. It's so bizarre.
So
when you think about what happened, it's messed up, bro.
It's so weird.
It's messed up. It's like the fourth wall. Like we're in a play and the fourth wall was broken.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
God, yeah.
By the narrator. He's like, I'm fucking with you,
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to have to do a little more digging, and hopefully some more news comes to light. I'd love to hear it, but...
I would love to know the circumstances. I'm sure it'll come out eventually, unless there's some kind of non-disclosure agreement, but...
Yeah.
I don't know, man. But I know that, from what brief information we do know, the guy who was breaking this news on Twitter, he pretty much confirmed that it was the executive producers and the business.
Oh, yeah. That we know for sure that it was
that were responsible for it.
The business.
They're like the suits killed Disco Elysium. Yeah. The guy literally posted a picture of these two fucking mucks who financed the game. One of which was convicted of a fucking investment fraud in Estonia.
Nice.
Go figure.
Good dude.
Yeah,
Hashtag sarcasm.
Yeah, fuck you, buddy. I hope you die in a plane crash. I'm not even joking. Fuck you. Ugh.
Ruining all the good games.
Makes me sick. That's a crime against God, you know?
Yeah.
I can't interpret it any other way. It's like somebody burning down Notre Dame. It's fucking almost much less bad to just like literally just run somebody over with your car than to do something like this, you know? You've not only hurt one person, you've disenfranchised all human beings who could possibly benefit from this art in the future.
Yep.
Fuck you. Yeah. Bit heavy this
Bit
note
heavy,
to leave off on. But
it's a welcome back from vacation, so...
Yeah. Make games
Happy.
and don't care about the market. We'll
Yeah.
play them. And even if you die starving, people in the future will love you for it.
True.
I don't know what else to say, buddy.
Dignity, it's a real thing.
Like all the kids say, we can do better than this.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, come on, guys. We can do better.
We can. Why don't you make a game then?
Yeah, right?
No, I don't make games. I play games. They're not the
Maybe
same
one
thing.
day,
Fuck you.
but not
Right? Like
today. For today, we will just bitch. And
Today
we've been
we'll-
right so far, so fuck you too.
Yep. Anyways, I guess we should leave it at that, shouldn't
Yeah.
we? It's a bit much.
Cut her off.
Yeah. Well, death to Stadia and to streaming and to
Rip Stadia.
live service games,
Rip Stadia.
the gaming industry, etc. We thank you for tuning in,
Yes.
and we'll talk to you soon.
Rip Stadia.